do there, people in the viewerverse? 'Tis I, Captain Steve, and I'm doing a review of the Outlaws update for No Man's Sky. So yeah, not the actual expedition, this is the actual full-on update review that I'm doing. So something that this has added in is additional Wingmen. Now Wingmen come quite in handy for helping you out in a little bit of a skirmish. Now you can see here, currently I'm at 86 kills and I'm at A class, but if I just hold down like the square button on one of these pilots, I can upgrade them. So if I select this chap over here, he's B class right now with 14 confirmed kills. Hold down square, he's gone to A class, 57 confirmed kills, now 164. Yeah, and I haven't moved from here, so I don't know how he done that so freaking quickly. It would make more sense if these guys ranked up, depending on how many kills they actually got. So I'd have to get 164 kills before it went to an S class. A bit like how the frigates rank up. I really wish Hello Games would have implemented that as a mechanic rather than just pumping nanites into them. Also, you can't recruit the same ships inside of your actual recruitment area, so you can't have duplicate ships. However, there is a workaround, which we've done a video on that, so I put a link up there to that video, but it was Beeble that discovered how to do that originally, so thank you very much, Beeble Bum. Excellente. Something else that Hello Games has done is upped the amount of ships you can have. So rather than just having 6 ships, we can now have 9. And although you've got 9 landing pads inside of your freighter, all of them won't actually show ships. So you can actually swap ships on the fly through here, and it would just change your primary ship to the one that you've just selected in the menu, even inside your freighter. So that one was it was a different ship, it was a fighter before. Now it's one of these new solar ships. This is a new addition too, is a new additional ship type of solar ship. And you know, the interior though, it feels very samey to the rest of the sorts of ships. It would have been nice to have seen this maybe with some eco gadgets or maybe even some analog dials or steampunk design. But I do like the cockpit window. It's very nice. What I would say is there's quite a lot of strats in this that sort of block and restrict the vision. And then once your solar cells actually open, it restricts the vision even further in combat. So I'm not a massive fan of it in the third person view. Don't know what this would be like in VR either. I'm on the fence with this one. Anyway, I put out a poll to everybody in the verse to see what they think, and 71% of people give it top marks. So that's pretty darn freaking good as far as the community feedback has gone. There's quite a lot of comments here, ranging from this is a great update to it's got to the point where it's so tedious to play on planet surfaces now that I'm on the edge of giving up in playing altogether. Yeah, or that it's too unbalanced and I'm thinking about giving up. So yeah, it does feel like balance is something that's gone slightly out of the window with some of this. New players that are getting attacked by sentinels or pirates stand very little chance. I am liking the look of this new ship when it's in first view, well, outside view, whatever you want to call that one, but first person view is not so great. Third person, isn't it? Yeah. Anyhow, this is new too. So now you will get scanned by system authorities inside of normal space, and they will ask you to hand over all your contraband or your station overrides. Station overrides seem to be quite important because actually put that separate to the actual contraband. And I'm not going to actually comply. Now, I've been complaining about this for ages. You get scanned by a pirate, and they go, oh, I like those AI valves, but then they want units instead. So quite a lot of the things that I've been saying in previous ideas videos and speculation videos have come to fruition into this actual update, and I'm actually really quite happy that a lot of these things have come in. Inside my video description I put a link to a mock-up that I made ages ago. I called it the Pillars update. A lot of that update is actually inside of this, which is pretty awesome as a mock-up. So Hello Games has also given us a cargo area now for our ships for smuggling. Again, this was something that I mentioned in my Ships Perks idea video. So it does seem to be that they are listening to the community, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that suggested these sort of updates to come in or to improve combat, because the game had got 4 pillars to it. You know, there was survive, there was explore, there was fight, and trade. Yeah, so traders had a big overhaul on this, because now we can trade in contraband, which is pretty cool. And flying contraband, like you just saw, can get you into trouble with the coppers. Yeah, it's pretty darn sweet. A new addition is also these new stations, which are pretty darn freaking nice. And they're slightly procedural as well. Like in the corner over there, there was an exomech in one of them, and this one's now got Sentinel Walkers in. There is a little bit of variety going on there. I've seen a few different variants so far, so I am quite liking these new stations. And there's also water dripping from the ceiling. People said about water mechanics being added in. Well, there's some dripping water, and they make little puddles on the floor with ripples and things. I don't think it's going to be too long before we see proper water physics added on planets. But there you go, that's just my speculation. But here we go, look, there's a repair kit here for 66,000 tainted metal. Normally they cost 66,000 units. Somebody's made a mistake over at Hello Games, they really have. That hasn't been tested that well. But, talking about things that haven't been tested that well, inside of this new area, this cargo space, the smuggling area for ships, if I try and sell something from that cargo area of a ship, doesn't matter what ship, not even a new ship, this is one of my legacy ships, if I go into sell, and then I swap it to my ship, and then I find one of those things that's inside of my cargo, so if I just go down here, keep going, and there we go, this is everything that's in my cargo. If I sell this stuff, look, it's not going, but look at my units just hammering up. Now if I have things in here that are worth nanites, the same happens. So that's why I've got so many nanites, and that's why I've got so many units. You can just press buttons all day and just get shed loads of stuff. I mean, it's an exploit that Hello Games have left in through pure devmanship, you know. This stuff should have been tested and patched out. It's freaking mind-blowing that it's still in. So why it's in there, make use of it. You know, what a lovely Easter present to have, everyone. But at the same time, it sort of detracts from earning the stuff. So yeah, there's all this lovely contraband in here. Now there are ways to make stuff legit. It's like these larval cores. You can buy them for units now. So no more hunting monstrosities. Just welly this right up, grab 15 of them. And because I've bought them using units, not all that many units either. There's the repair kit there for 66,000 units, you see. It's just got squiffed over with the tainted metal. But I really need to see these bugs getting fixed and not appearing at all. But here you go. If I now go into my refiner and go over to here and pick up those larval cores and dash them in there, I'm going to get them into nanites. So I don't even have to leave here. I can just keep buying these things and just keep turning them into nanites. They replenish after a time in there. Or I just jump in my ship, out of my ship, create a save, reload again, and he's got full inventory again. So you can just stay here and make nanites all day. This is probably the quickest way to make nanites now, legit, in-game. So, yeah, as long as you've got the units, that is. But you can just buy a load of contraband when you're getting low on units, fly over to a neighbouring system and sell it for almost twice what you freaking paid for it. Get a load more units, rinse and repeat. Simple as. Yeah, so you can just make all your money in units and nanites in space now. Now, sometimes you get given the station override as a reward on these missions. At the moment, it's got cargo bulkheads, though, there. And I've also seen frigate modules here as well. So it's great for upgrading your frigates, great for getting all your cargo modules stacked out inside of your actual freighter rather than running derelicts. So, yeah, I think these new stations and these new missions have got a lot of longevity and life for any new players, and they've got rhyme or reason to any new players. There's reasons to come to these systems for a new player. For players like myself that have pretty much done everything and got everything superly upgraded, not so much though. I mean, yeah, the missions are a little different, but they're still fetch quests. I've got to take something to a guy, drop it off and give it to them. There's missions just like that already in the proper station. There are a couple of missions where you may have to go in to interact with a frigate that's actually flying, it's actually moving in space, and it's got all these defence sort of ones around it, and you have to take some out. I think I've got some footage in this video a bit later of me doing that. But a lot of the other missions in here are just fetch type quests or find quests, and it's a little bit repetitive and nothing greatly deep or larger than what we've seen with inside of the station. You know, like when you're recruiting Wingmen and it comes up with a little bit of narrative about them and all their stats and stuff. It'd be nice to have bounties where it actually tells you who your bounty is, who your quarry is, and what they've done and why they're a git and why there's a bounty on them. That would be great. I wish they would implement some of that into the actual system, because that could be quite good fun. But at the same time, the bounties need to be a bit more of a quarry. Sometimes they might need to be on the planet inside of a exocraft, and you can either shoot them in your ship or you can land and get a similar exocraft and do an exocraft duel or battle. That'd be quite cool. Or they need to have NPCs that actually move around with multi-tools and fire back on foot. Or sometimes your actual guy might be in space. Mix it up a bit. Have really involved bounties. That's what I would have loved to have seen put into this verse. But no, what they've done is they've used what's already there in-game and then placed over some bit of code to try and make some very quick missions. And I'm sorry, Hello Games, but it shows. It really does show that there's been no sort of depth placed into these new missions, which is a real missed opportunity yet again. I'm going to be using that quite a lot in this. A missed opportunity. It's like your squadron not ranking up and you just pump nanites in. Missed opportunity to add some depth in there and make it a bit bigger for people like myself that have already played through. So this is one of the missions where the frigate is actually moving in space, and I like this. It's not static, it's actually moving in a moving object. And you've got to take away all of its defenders, and you've got to get some gel from it. Now there was another mission where I had to actually attack the freighter and destroy all the cargo pods upon the freighter, which was quite cool. But you can't blow the whole frigate or freighter up, and you can't get rewarded something awesome from it. It's whatever the mission agent's offering, which is fine. But yeah, there could be more depth in it, where when you get to your quarry, they say, you don't do this, this is piracy, this is not great. We're carrying medical supplies, but what we can give you is XYZ. Would you leave us alone if we give you this or something? They could make a little bit more depth in there, make it a bit more interesting. Throw in a few curveballs every now and again. Maybe that doesn't happen every time or something, Also, these are space pirates and outlaws. It'd be nice to see them doing something massively gittish. It's like, the giant jellyfish, the child of Helios. Maybe they're going out and they're plundering that to try and loot it. And you can go out and you can maybe kill them from killing this giant space jellyfish, or help them as a mission. There's a lot of things that Hello Games could put in that's already in-game and put layers on. That's kind of what they've done with some of these missions, but they haven't really gone to a giant level of it. It's very basic what they've done in the way of missions. So I don't think I'm going to be running the missions all too often unless I need a station override. So it depends on how cool the station overrides is. It all pivots on that, really. How good is a station override? And the fact that Hello Games hasn't delivered the station override is getting really painful now. Okay, so something I do like about these new ships is when you're in low orbit, the wings fold back in again. So there's no sort of, blankers on the screen and divides. I really think this should happen when you're in combat. I think those should close down. They look fragile as fudge. You don't want them getting shot. That's your power supply. They should retract in during combat. Hello Games, if you're listening, during combat, make those close back in, please. Because they're a big restriction in view and they're a pain in the blinking arse. So when you go out, and you can see that they pop back out again. When I fly back down into the actual atmosphere, you see they close back in again. I want that to happen when you enter into combat, or at least have a toggle inside of options to have that happen or something. Like how you can inverse your flight controls. Have, detract the solar cells during combat as an option. Please add that in, because it does my nut in. I really like the look of the ships when they're landed, when it's all folded in, when it's really compact. Those little arms that come out, they look quite fragile too. In fact, it'd be nice to have it like this when you go into combat. So when you're in going fast mode, they open out, and then the solar cells come out when you're in pulse, and then they close back in again when you slow down and go into combat, like a little shell. I think that'll make more sense anyway. Now, something that does happen quite often when I'm trying to do ship hunting, or when I'm trying to build a base that might be in a place like a trading post, I get attacked quite a lot by ships. Yeah, they don't do too much damage, but they are a pain in the neck. So I'm flying up to do combat with them, and what I've noticed is sometimes one of these pirates will go and land on a landing pad. And once they've landed on a landing pad, they don't take back off again. And when you're trying to shoot them, they don't die. And because they're not dying, and because you haven't destroyed all ships, you're not allowed to land again. It's freaking annoying as fudge. So I've had to reload my game a couple of times on this. I have no idea how you get out of this situation when it happens. And I really hope that it's a bug that Hello Games know about and fix relatively quickly, because it's a pain in the neck. And also having them attack you in non-pirate space when you're at a trading post or at an outpost or something is pretty darn freaking annoying, because this doesn't just happen in high conflict zones. This happens in all conflict areas of space. I don't mind this happening in level 3 conflict zones where you're getting higher yield freaking utilities and things. But there's the ship I was hunting for. It just took off. It's just gone. I was waiting for ages for that, and I took part in that, and now it's freaking off. So it's destroyed ship hunting slightly at trading posts for me. Now I just put down a beacon and just reload whenever there's a combat going on, and if ships aren't landing, I reload. It's kind of destroyed ship hunting a bit at trading posts, and trading posts were the best place to do ship hunting. Righto. So lastly, these new Fang dangly capes, which are freaking awesome. The only thing is, they don't always show up. I've had mine go missing for no real reason. Usually after I've gone for a swim and then gone up to the actual station. I tried doing it here, I went for a swim, but it's still on my back. But this person's missing. Look, so I can't see theirs. Now, whenever I entered into multiplayer, it's like when I'd done the weekend missions, I couldn't see Mr. Kettle's cape. and he couldn't see mine, but we could see our own on our own screens. That's a bit weird. Also, you can see the jetpack sort of glitching through the back there, which is a bit weird. But I am looking forward to getting the same cape as Nada one day. Hopefully Hello Games add that in as a drop. Heck yes. But anyway, this is a review, isn't it? So I need to give this a freaking score. So you know what? I'm going to say goodbye to you guys in here, inside of the gameverse, and I'm going to go over to my scoreboard. Okay, so the pros. It strengthens trade and fight pillars, definitely. Heck yes, it does. Adds new ships to hunt and upgrade. Adds 3 new ship slots, so we can get more ships. Wingmen to hunt and recruit. New types of station with their missions. Better pirate scans. And mechanics behind the pirate scans. Oh, and let's not forget those capes. Those capes are freaking dapper. Heck yes, they are. And I hope they add more in future iteration. I just wish they'd stay on your back and not keep disappearing or glitching through the actual rocket pack. Yeah, so yeah, there are little bits of bugs. And that brings me on to the cons. So the cons, the lore made little sense. Even though there was new lore in there, it didn't quite bridge over into the pre-existing lore. New ships have blind spots. I guess they do, especially with those sails out. Attacks are too frequent on planet surfaces. Yeah. Wingman upgrades are shallow because you're just pumping nanites. New missions don't feel new. They feel a little bit done to death already. And a few too many bugs. Again, like with the backpack, like with the point that you can just keep selling stuff from your cargo slots, or that, you know, now a repair kit costs 66,000 tainted metal. So there's all of that to take into account when giving my final scores on the doors. But yet there's more to it than that. I mean, Hello Games have pumped quite a lot of work into this update, and it does show. And also the expedition that went with it was really well balanced and thought out. I just don't think the same balance has come into the actual update itself, into the Outlaws update. There's nothing for us players that have played for ages to keep us coming back for more. There's no excitement. Oh, what am I going to play after work? To be honest, I feel more excited about playing some more Elden Ring. So there is another reviewer out there that's done his own review. He's done it in 3 parts. That's OWG Game Reviews. I put a link to his review set in my video description, so you can go check out all 3 of those videos. But anyway, I'm scoring this a 7 out of 10, and he echoes the same sentiments as myself. So anyway, until next time, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.